The first half of the trading year 2024 completed today, and in the second half of this week's SD Bullion market update, we'll take a look around the world at how silver and gold have fared through the first half of the year. But to begin, I want to focus in on a chart regarding ongoing high silver premiums, which we continually look at and are continually being paid in China for industrial-sized 1,000-ounce silver bullion bars. The latest data shows China recently paying $3.75 an ounce over LBMA silver spot price points. The main reason is because they are not only dominant, but they also have further ambitions regarding silver solar panel power plants to come. This is China's most recent solar power plant completion, the largest in the world, but they're only getting started. Their stated solar ambitions suggest they will likely need hundreds more of such solar power parks by the end of this decade. More on that in a minute. First, just a closer look at the size and scale of this recently launched solar power plant.
China's largest solar power tower project, known as the Aksai Huidong New Energy Solar Farm, has achieved a significant milestone.
Now, it's completed its panel field comprising of 11,960 heliostats. The Aksai Huidong New Energy Solar Hybrid Pilot Project, it's located in the 10 GWCSP base of the 40-mile Gobi of Aksai Kazakh Autonomous County, northwest of China's Gansu province.
This innovative idea stands out because it uses 48 square meters of Chinese-initiated pentagonal heliostats, which can weigh up to 1.2 tons to collect concentrated sunlight through the tower.
When the solar farm is finished, it should provide 1,700 gigawatt hours of electricity yearly, saving about 507,000 tons of regular coal and reducing 1.47 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions annually, which is the same as afforesting around 800 million square meters.
Meanwhile, Western fiat financialized media is barely taking notice, years late in figuring out that industrial silver use per state-of-the-art solar panel is not going down, but rather going up in terms of silver weight per panel. Here's Bloomberg today.
Silver prices are hovering at levels last seen more than a decade ago, with the increase partly being driven by rising demand from the solar industry. Let's get the details then and bring in Jenny Chase, specialist in Bloomberg NEF's solar team. Jenny, thanks for joining us with the details on this intriguing story. Talk to us then about how much silver is used in the solar industry.
So last year, solar used about 16% of world silver supply, which is a fair amount. It's more than in previous years. The total demand for new build solar is probably about 50% more silver this year than it was last year. What complicates that a little bit is that there's a lot of solar module inventory sitting around the market from last year. But in general, yes, silver demand for solar is significantly higher this year than last year, which is one of the factors that's driving the price spike.
Is this, Jenny, is this about greater demand for installations? Installations growing, more of these solar panels and installations are being put out and put into place, whether it's on businesses or residential properties, or is it about the technology itself changing?
It's both. So installations of solar are growing about 20% this year compared with last year, which is a lot less than the manufacturers were hoping for, but it's still a fair amount more. But there's also a technology change. So last year, the dominant technology was PERC, which uses about 8.6 milligrams of silver per watt. And this year, the dominant technology with about 60% market share is TOPCon, which is a shade more efficient, but does use significantly more silver, about 12 milligrams per watt. And there are some other technologies that aren't quite major market yet that use even more silver. So yes, it's partly demand and it's partly the technology shift that are driving the increase in silver use by the solar industry.
OK, I pulled up a chart year to date. I'm looking at silver prices up about 22%. So my question then is, if silver prices keep rising, does this lead to an inflationary impulse? The prices of these modules rise as a result?
Well, right now, there is some other stuff going on in the solar industry, and solar module prices are the lowest that they've ever been. So they just dropped below 10 US cents per watt, which is absolutely unbelievable, given that the price of solar modules in 2004 was over $4 a watt. So modules are cheaper than they've ever been, but silver now makes up about 11% of the cost of making a solar module. So this is significant. And basically the stress is entirely on the manufacturers right now, which are making very negative margins because you've got these super cheap modules and high costs.
Solar panel module prices are at an all-time low at the moment, but silver, which seems to be increasing in its use per panel, is still only 11% of the total unit cost. Of course, that's going to be rising, and China knows this, and thus has been willing to pay upwards of over 12% above the Western silver price quotes to get as much physical silver as it can now, not later, when prices per her ambitious solar power panel plans will be exorbitantly higher than they are now. Let's look at just how ambitious China is regarding her coming silver solar panel production plans. At the moment, China has just over a world-leading 250 gigawatts in solar power capacity, but she aims to more than fourfold that in the coming 5.5 years. What does China's stated goal of 1,200 gigawatts of silver solar panel capacity using state-of-the-art heavy silver load panels look like? Well, this is the world's current largest silver solar panel park in China, and it's 5 gigawatts of power. So to hit that 2030 year goal of 1,200 gigawatts, they'll need something like 190 more of these silver solar power panel plants using the state-of-the-art 2024 technology looking ahead. Green energy analyst Matt Watson has some interesting silver demand charts that are worth looking at as he projects demand totals for the coming decades in silver. Given his assumptions, by 2030, world silver demand per year will be hitting nearly 1.4 billion ounces. And while I find his net physical silver investment demand assumptions throughout the decades coming highly questionable, what really isn't questionable is the silver solar panel projections, given current and coming stated demands. Conservatively, he's calling for over 300 million ounces of silver solar demand per year as far out as 2 decades from now. Other silver solar power market analysts are calling for even crazier coming silver solar panel demand figures, as high as 500 million an ounce per year of silver solar demand alone by 2027. And as we've covered here of late, China, the world leader in silver solar panel production, has not been slimming down the inputs of silver into their state-of-the-art solar panels. Rather, they've been adding silver loads to their newest panels to increase efficiency and panel lifespans. Again, this is only solar industrial demand we've discussed. We haven't even touched upon the coming ramp up in investment demands for silver globally, especially in Western nations that have to debase their currencies to meet unfunded liabilities and record-setting debt loads. So the old rigged US CPI high price of silver looking backwards, which is currently $168.89 an ounce, January 1980, just China's silver solar pan ambitions alone through the remainder of this decade in the 2020s, they make the Hunt brothers look like they were playing a game of tiddlywinks. On the other side of this break, we're going to look around both the Western and Eastern world to see how both gold and silver have performed thus far in 2024, and look at the silver price cup handle breakouts already running in some countries and around others that are preparing to do so likely later on as this decade plays out. Hello, this is James Anderson on behalf of SD Bullion. Smash the like button if you enjoy these Bullion market updates, and be sure to visit sdbullion.com/sweepstakes to enter our free 500-ounce silver coin giveaway.
Make some room in your safe because a whole lot of silver could be coming your way. SD Bullion's Monster Box Sweepstakes is back, featuring 500 of SD Bullion's very own Silver Tree of Life coins in a Monster Box for the first time ever. This stunning silver coin is a highly detailed masterpiece featuring a hidden inscription on one of the tree branches that changes every year. So put on your best flannel and become one with the forest, and take your shot to win 500 silver trees from SD Bullion, because someone's gonna win it, so why not you? Click the link below for your chance to win.
The silver and gold markets traded sideways and slightly down respectively on the week. The spot silver price finished the month quarter and half year point just over $29 an ounce bid. The spot gold price finished just over $2,325 an ounce bid, and with gold being slightly stronger than silver on the week, the spot gold-silver ratio finished at 79. The World Gold Council was out this week with results from a survey of 525 North American investors. They found that almost 1/3 of North American investment managers surveyed plan on increasing their respective, typically tiny next to no gold investment allocations over the next 12 to 18 months. How much would you like to wager that the 525 of these asset managers would be shocked to learn that 60/40 portfolios replacing bonds with gold over the last 5 to 2 decades have resulted in better returns, even with gold going through a brutal bear market from 1980 to the early 2000s? What happens over the next 2 decades as bonds inevitably go through their secular bear market for the ages? Instead of front-running this gold bullion over bonds trade like central banks are currently doing at record size, buying gold bullion in volumes over the last 3 years, Western asset managers have been selling off their unsecured gold ETF holdings to the tune of about 1/8 of the size they once held just in 2011 alone. Where did most of that unsecured 400-ounce gold go over the last 13 years or so? Well, the 2011 to 2020 Western world unsecured gold bar siphon mostly went east to China and India, respectively. Whereas since COVID 2020, through a lot of unsecured gold bullion bar float has certainly gone to record-buying central banks. As they have admitted over the last 3 years, 2022 through the end of this year, 2024, to have been buying gold in record size. They are buying bullion over bonds increasingly so. I suggest we strongly do likewise. Now onwards to see how gold and silver spot prices have performed through the first half of this year, 2024, around the world. This is the annual fiat US dollar gold price chart from 1970 until this week in 2024. Each blue bar represents a positive year in price performance, with both bottom and top intra-year price wicks showing. The spot price breakout for gold is only just beginning in fiat US dollar terms. It will likely take nearing 3,000 an ounce gold before North American investment managers start doing the work required to lose the gold illiteracy they were purposely never educated to have. On the silver side of the year, thus far in the fiat US dollar, we're up, but the potential for an even stronger close on 2024 remains given the bullish fundamentals building globally. Our neighbors to the north give our green US dollar colored glasses a look at how our likely nominal price futures are going to look. Gold in fiat Canadian dollars has blown out over 3,100 an ounce and will likely make a run much higher as the year progresses. The silver fiat Canadian dollar chart also looks bullish as prices up north might break their 2011 highs before this year plays out. Stay tuned. Looking over at the second most important fiat currency unit in the world, the fiat euro gold price, that's breaking out. We'll see if 2,500 gets threatened by the end of this year. On the silver fiat euro price chart, the old 2011 high is within range when silver gets running further to the upside. Moving to the fiat yuan gold price in China, we can see why so many investors in China were buying gold so heavily to start the year. It performed very well this far in 2024 compared to their local real estate market, which basically dominates investment classes. On the silver fiat yuan chart, we can see a cup forming, and it won't be many years from now when China will have to pay record nominal price high levels for the silver solar panels she has ambitions to build through 2030. Now turning to the fiat yen Japanese gold price, up and away it has been this first half of 2024. On the fiat yen silver price chart, they are still just under half under their 1980 price high, even as the fiat yen is devaluing terribly. Silver is still dirt cheap in the land of the rising sun. The fiat gold price down under in Australian dollar terms is again blasting higher, and the silver fiat Aussie dollar price has already pierced its 1980 and 2011 highs respectively this year. Both of those charts are merely showing us US investors how our price charts are going to look years from now. And finally, massive gold buying fiat rupee price charts in India illustrate why they have generationally been buying gold for millennia. And their fiat rupee silver price chart, that's busted out. And here's CNBC TV 18 Manisha Gupta to tell us a bit more on local Indian silver prices.
Silver prices have declined 9% in June till time. The Indian prices hit all-time high around 95,000 rupees per kg, but have seen correction almost to 87,000 right now. But even with that, silver is still one of the best performing commodities in 2024. As we reach middle of this year, it is up 21% YTD. Silver is a precious metal and it also is a good electricity conductor, and its usage in solar panels, semiconductor chips is high. The numbers are strong when it comes to Indian imports of silver, and China driving demand for solar panels also is expected to keep the silver prices higher for the rest of this year.
The rest of the year, sure, Manisha. But just the exploding silver solar panel demand data we covered here alone suggests not only higher silver prices not just for years coming, but even for decades to come. That will be all for our weekly SD Bullion market update. And as always to you out there, take great care of yourselves and those you love. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and share it with those you love. Subscribe to our channel and hit that alert button so you know when we publish new bullion market updates.